Hey everybody, this is Dan from Peterson Farms Cerberus Live Scan with another edition of Solutions for the Software Industry. Episode 9, we're going to talk through some tricks and helpful tips of how we run our business. I'm a small business with my bride, Susan, our 3 daughters. So, as Ramsey kind of says, the chief everything officer in a lot of things. So, how do you keep track of all those things? And what are some tools that we use in the business here to bring out some of the products that we have and to keep track of a lot of the stuff? So, some of this stuff may not work for you, may not work for your business, but I get asked sometimes of how do I do this and what do I use for that? I'm going to go through some of those. I could probably do an episode on each one of these things, and maybe I will down the road if people have an interest in it, but wanted to share some of the things that I do and things that make my life a little easier, present a more professional appearance in some things, and then just how we do some of the tricks and tactics of some of the things. So, very first thing I'm going to talk about is QR codes. Almost everybody has a smartphone this day and age. Those phones have a computer, a photo, a camera on them, and you can very quickly move data and point people where you want them to go, as opposed to them fumbling and mistyping a URL or a website or an email address or a phone number, whatever. You can very easily put it in as a QR. So I'm going to show you. This website is what we use to generate almost all the QR codes that we do. And one caveat, I am not paid by any of these companies. No advertising, no promotional consideration here. These are actually the tools that we use. Many of them are free or low cost. So I'm not paid in any way, shape, or form on these things. So I don't think this is a paid endorsement and a vouch. We use it. So they use it and it works. QRcodegenerator.com is what we use to do QR codes for our marketing material, for our website stuff, for our business cards, etc. So, for example, the back of our business card has for example, the back of our business card, Cerberus Live Scan card, we have a QR code on the back that will take customers to our website. So we use that to get them there without having errors and omissions. And that is simply done by this URL button up top. So the other thing that we do, and I'll show you some examples of that. So on our marketing material, like this is a live scan PDF that we have, and then we have a Merlin PDF here. Again, not plugging those materials, but just to say and show you, this will take them to our website and the product site so they can quickly see the information of it. They have it in their hands, etc., without having some complex wordy URL piece on there. But that's what we use to get those there. So the other thing that's really powerful that I use all the time, and I have it with me all the time, is I have this QR code, and that is actually my address virtual card. So I have that on my phone, saved in albums, saved as a favorite. So when somebody says, "Hey, what's your number?" or whatever, I can just pull that piece out. They take it with their phone, and you get the option to add that address right to their card. It's my number actually, so if you want to shoot me a text, go ahead. But it's this V card box up here. So if you click on that, it's going to give you all this information that you want to put into it. As much as you want, it'll go through it. Now there is paid versions of this thing, and you can go through and track how many clicks, and you can do some custom branding and some other stuff. Great, that works for you. Awesome, and that's what these other things are about over here. But it's a paid version. The free version will simply, for example, let me put this in Peterson Farms, and just like that, it'll generate a QR code for us. I then will either save this or take a snip of it and then do whatever I need to do with it to put it into the marketing material, etc. So QR codes, QR generator dot qrcodegenerator.com, QR-code-generator.com. Free solution, works great. Been using it for years. There is paid versions that will do some tracking and some other stuff for you. So that's one trick and technique. The next one I'm going to show you is Keeper. I got into this when I was an IT professional. We actually got hacked by the Russians. It was a good time. Ask me about it later. Then we went to Keeper with alphabet soup passwords and a shared common picture for it. There's also some file share pieces of it. Pricing is very favorable. So from this isn't loading. Current pricing for the family plan is basically $75 a year, and that gives you 5 licenses. So that works for me and my family. I have a daughter that's out in college that we have access to some of that stuff and we share some family stuff with it, but everything in our world is inside of that. And what this thing looks like from the inside is you can do folders and you can search by it up on top. You can see that search piece. You can do a partial search. You can also put in any payment card data, tons and tons of features inside of this thing. And now I can't live without it. So we use Keeper for about everything that's of any value, as well as on our phones. Keeper is a program on our phones that we can pull stuff down and keep passwords secured, as opposed to, that post-it note under the keyboard that some of you may have, or that Google Sheet that is not really that secure. So with that, Keeper is the next trick and tip that I have. The next tool for us that's kind of a game changer is thermal printers. So these little widgets, we actually have a couple of these in the business. I have the top one, this 159 Rollo printer, USB connected to this computer in the office, and I use that to do price tags. I use that to do vault tags. So when I sell a can, I print out the customer's name, their sale number, the date it was submitted, and a phone number. I stick that on the box. Slight plug, Cerberus can also make those labels for you very quickly. But regardless, you can print out a label, put it on the can. I know which ones are done. I also use those 1.5-inch labels. I get them from Uline. They are great for price tags and they're wicked to get off. So careful what you put them on. And then we actually have the white one as well. It wasn't as expensive when we bought it. But we have a white one that's wireless. So Susan can then print labels for shipping, and we have 4x6-inch labels in there. We use that for all the postage stuff. We use that for all the packaging type pieces, and she'll print the pick list out of there too. So those are two awesome tools. Dymo makes a really solid printer as well. Used that in a previous life. Only drawback with the Dymos is it has a cartridge style label, so you're stuck buying the labels from Dymo. So those can get expensive a little bit. Zebra has a very, very expensive, I don't think that much better solution, but if you are a Zebra person, so be it. But Rollo has been a very robust solution for us on their printers. Usually you need a little stand that goes with it. I'm not sure if they're down here or not. Yeah, this kind of a guy to hold on to the roll or to the fan fold type stuff. So that works really well for us. But again, that's the next piece I got. People also ask us about backup and retention. So we have two Synologies that I run. Again, I'm home based, but we run two Synologies here. One is our NAS, so network access storage. Think of it as a share drive. We use that for basically a personal cloud. Our phones go to that to pull and push data. We have access to it from anywhere with Synology software through the VPN and firewall type stuff. Really, really awesome piece. And then also, more importantly, it has a backup feature to it. So one is our NAS and network share drive. The other device is our backup. These are the ones that don't have the drives in them, these pricing. There are some, if you poke around a little bit on the Synologies, you can buy drives. I use Iron Wolf drives in there. They work great. Have not had an issue with it. You get monthly updates from the system if you set it up right on drive health and updates. So it works great. Love it. Would not go another way on those right now. I also do use Google Drive and G Suite and some pieces there. So some things go there that I need for faster access, but larger content, these videos and such, all end up on these Synology pieces. The next piece of software or kit that I use is called TickTick. It is a to-do list program. So instead of having multiple notebooks, multiple things anywhere, this is a web app. This is a web delivered app. Also, it's on your phone. What it looks like on the inside is this kind of thing. So this is the inbox where I can just make lists of stuff, but I can also tag it with categories. So on the left-hand side, you can kind of see the tags on there of what categories. It's blurred, but you can see what's kind of going on there. And then you can also see what the items are as they go through. The one reason I like this a lot is very fast on keyboard stuff. I can just do a hashtag and a category, and it'll make a new category or associate it to a category. So I can group stuff and multiple things into multiple categories. I also can very easily mark it as a high, low, medium priority or uncategorized. And I can also put a due date to it. And there's also checklists inside of it. Again, we use the free version of it. It does about everything I needed to do. There is a limit on checklists or to-do lists. Inside an item, the number of list items I think is 20. So if you have like a packing list, for example, we use it for. If you have more than 20, you just got to make another item. So, but you can also pay for the version of it if you want to go that. So, but the other power that this Tick program has is the Eisenhower matrix. So if you're familiar with that, basically it is the urgent and important is the stuff in the upper left that needs to get done as fast as possible. You have urgent, unimportant, things that should get done shortly, but not that important. You have not urgent but important, upper right, and then you have whenever you get to it list. Not important, not urgent. That's just the general stuff you don't want to lose track of. So this will categorize that for you and show it to you and organize it if you label those things as high, medium, low categories. So when you go to the matrix, the Eisenhower matrix piece, it'll show you what's going on and whatnot. So like I'll put bugs on here. I'll put by program. I'll put it by army stuff, whatever. You can see what's going on. I live and breathe by this thing as we go through stuff. So that is, again, ticktick.com. Played with a whole bunch of them. Used to use Smartsheet as well. That worked really slick on some pieces, but it was kind of expensive, especially for small business. But I did use that in a previous life and liked that a lot. So, all right. Next piece. I have one of these stampers. I created one basically for block 33 on the 4473. So that's where you're supposed to put your name, your address, your license number, etc. I created one of these things. I think with the 4 lines or so, it was 11, 12 bucks. It's lasted the last 4 years type stuff. So makes a simple stamp, clean stroke, professional looking, and you don't have to waste time scribbling out your license number. I've also seen or heard guys also get one for their signature, so you can stamp the name, in the block, and you still sign your signature. So that's a piece that we use quite a bit because in Wisconsin we also have to fill that same data out on our handgun forms. So I need to use it 3 times because I stamp the white and the yellow on the handgun forms in Wisconsin. It's a 3-part carbon. Long story, don't ask. And then the 4473, I stamp it then. So if I sell a handgun, I use it 3 times per transaction as opposed to writing it out. So it saves me time, looks more professional, like it a lot. Many of you are going to say, but Dan, why aren't you using bound book stuff? We do. So there's 3 companies that we work with from predominantly Cerberus, and they've been very good people for us. Coreware, they have their core store and bound book piece. They can do the digital bound book, and then they also can do digital 4473. So that is a solution very much worth looking into. It's a full POS bound book solution as well as some back end credit card processing piece. Worth it from everyone I've talked to that uses it. The other one that I highly recommend here is Fastbound. Fastbound works with pretty much every major POS system as the back office and back end bound book system and digitally keep track of pieces. The other benefit is you can actually, when you dispose to if you transfer a lot to other Fastbound users, you can automatically send the transfer. Relatively inexpensive, depends on your volume and scales with that volume. So I think the first pricing tier is about $10 a month for 100 firearms a year, and then it goes up from there. The next step is 250, then 500 type stuff, but the price does get up there as you transfer stuff around. And then the other one that we work with, some good guys down in Georgia, Easy Online FFL. They integrate with our Cerberus Live Scan. They're basically $1 a gun per transaction with a cap and a max on it. So they have a digital bound book solution. They have digital 4473s, and they also have integration for NICS to do the background check and to expedite that or error proof that as well. So all 3 digital bound book, strongly recommend looking at it, getting into it early as you build your business and you go. The last 2 are some documentation pieces. So Canva is what Susan uses to do all of our social media stuff. I believe it is 75 or $100 a month or a year type piece, around 10. No, it's gonna be 120 a month, 120 a year, about $10 a month, give or take. So what this is it has a whole ton of editable templates that you can access to. You can build those items and build imagery into it. You can animate a lot of the stuff into it. And the other massive tool that we find very, very useful is you can schedule posts. So you can plug in your Instagram, your Facebook business account, or whatever, and this thing will then schedule those posts for you and push it out for you. So if you're in a creative mood one day, you can rack out 5, 6, 10 social media posts and have them scheduled to go out at a certain date, certain time, and certain frequency even as well if you want to do that too. So Canva, I was not a huge fan of it to begin with, but I am now because I can see what Susan's been doing with it, ripping out content. So when you're in the mood, just make stuff and get it all done and get it out. So the last trick or tip that I have is a program called Draw.io. What this thing is a free graphic design flowchart designer. So if you've heard of Visio, this is the open source version that is comparable to it. So I use this actually for all of the Cerberus instructions and all of the Merlin and all of our software stuff of how things flow. Really easy to work with. So copy paste keyboard stuff. I can simply drag and connect stuff. If I want to add a box, I can ask me what box I want to add, right? And then it also still connects. So as I drag stuff around, it stays with it. I can put images in here. I can move stuff around. Works really slick for doing work instructions, for documenting a process. I have some other, if you've seen any of the Cerberus flowcharts, this is the program that makes it and how we do it. So um, nothing really earth shattering here, but a handful of things. Like I said, I get asked questions on how do I do some stuff? What do I use for pieces of it? So hopefully some of those were interesting. The QR code one and the keeper one, I think strongly recommend you look at those and work those in. The other ones, hopefully you found beneficial. With that, thank you for joining us on this edition of Solutions for the Firearm Industry. If you like what you've seen, hit that like and share button. Whether you're on iHeart, on Spotify, on iTunes, Apple Music, whatever, share it with, let people know that we're out there. The first 8 or so episodes talked through the SOT process and how to get started with SOT pieces. And now we're going to bounce around a little bit on some other topics on FFL related things and business related things and how we do stuff. So check out our website, www.petersonfarmsusa.com. And inside of that, we have two main products, our Cerberus Live Scan, which is our fingerprinting solution for the SOT community. Catalogs, helps with the customer management, helps with EFTs, helps with paper form forwards, helps with automation to autofill and repeat business. And then Merlin. Merlin is our distribution warehouse search tool. So it pulls together currently approximately 12 warehouses, and we can get data out of 8 of them. So let me move this 1 second. There we go. If you're watching online. So these are the warehouses: Bill Hicks, Chattanooga, Davison's, Gun Accessory, GSL, Iron Valley, Lipsy's, Merlin, our marketplace for the internal users, Orion, RSR, Sports South, Xanders, and then we can order from Bill Hicks, Davison's, Gun Accessory, GSL, Merlin Marketplace, and RSR. And working on a couple other ones. Actually, Chattanooga is working and Sports South is working. I got to update those check marks. So with that, thank you for your time today. I hope you found some use and benefit out of it. Again, like and share whatever platform you're on. And if you need something or need any help, by all means, I'm here to help. Thank you.